Good morning. It's fine Wednesday morning in Delhi. I say fine because it's been an unusually hot February.
Yeah.
But last night or early morning, it's been very windy.
Rain?
Did it rain also?
It rained in the night.
It was pretty windy, rainy. Even now it's very cloudy when I was
Yes, yes.
But the good thing is the test match is not in Delhi. It is in Indore. So there is no rain in Indore, so that is all
My
right.
home away from home.
How many homes do you have?
Lots. Indore,
Which place is your home? Bhopal is your house. Indore is your house.
Yes.
Mumbai, Chennai,
Delhi.
now Noida.
Yeah.
Anything left? Any part of
Northeast India.
is left? So,
Yeah.
the big talking point is obviously going to be India's playing 11. And I think there's a good chance that you will see two changes.
Yes.
One Shubman coming in and the other Umesh Yadav coming in. Not just because of his record here, but also because we've seen this rotation policy. But again, we'll get to know in another 12, 13 odd minutes what India's team is going to be like. But our friend Siddharth is still hung over by the test match that he saw yesterday. He took an off day purposely because he's a big New Zealand fan. So he said, I'll stay back and I'll just watch the...
I was only waiting for the inevitable. Okay, England will once again baseball New Zealand. But man, Neil Wagner, what a warrior. Last time, I remember, he put up a similar performance. He had 2 fractured toes. This time, he bowled with a sore foot. 4 wickets. And England were also, I will just say, slightly robbed by 1 run. They were robbed by 1 run. Had that happened, the test match would have been a tie. I'll explain in that video.
Only the third tie in history?
Third tie in the history of... And
West Indies, Australia, India, Australia.
Yep.
And this would have been the third.
Australia have been involved in all close matches. Tied, it's been in
Both
Australia. Then 1 run, West Indies, Australia. In Adelaide now, 30 years later, you have had New Zealand, England.
And even looking at the follow-on victories, all 3 previously, Australia had given the...
Yes, I mean, they have been there in all kinds of test match scenarios that you want them to be in.
But can I tell you, I mean, again, not taking anything away from Wagner because of that sore toe, he's still bowling and all of that. And then you might even talk about that 1 run that they were robbed of, all of that. But I tell you, at the end of the day, the blame also squarely lies on England.
Yep.
Because that partnership, Root and Stokes, they should have taken them home. They were set. They were not being troubled at all. Good partnership. 50 odd. What happened is, like it happens with a lot of... not very mature teams, though it's very surprising that it's come with this English team, which is pretty mature, but this is a typical, sign of immature team where as soon as you get close to a total, you've had a good partnership, you think, okay, the job is done. And so you try to play, airy-fairy shots saying, oh, it's done. Even if I get out enough, that was what both Root and Stokes were guilty of. Maybe, okay, Stokes with the injury played that rash stroke. You expected slightly better of Root. That he should have taken it home. I mean, you don't have to just live by that whole impression that we are playing baseball or whatever. No, those 2 foolish shots. I mean, those were 2 nothing balls. It's not that you just wanted to show your aggression that short pitch ball also will hammer. You should have let it go.
You didn't
have to. So,
and Root was already having the guilt of running out Harry Brook for a diamond duck.
Yeah.
He just sold Harry Brook down the river.
See, if that guilt was there, it would have happened much earlier.
Yeah.
He got to play such a fantastic knock after that. So, even if somebody says that it's got guilt from that time, also I kind of don't agree. I think it was...
Folks also top-edged the hook shot from Saudi.
But I'm saying, exactly. But I'm saying again, maybe you expected better out of Folks. But I say the set batsman. See, it's always the case in a test match. Not all batsmen will perform at a given time. That's why they say in a test match that once you're in, you're the one. I mean, I was listening to Steve Smith yesterday, and he said these kind of pitches, I mean, you will have a ball that has your name on it, but once you're in, it's your responsibility to take. So, for example, what a Rohit Sharma did or an Akshar Patel did, it's like you're in, you get big runs because everyone else is not going to be doing that well. So, I think with that in mind, those two shots, especially Root.
Root.
I know he's been in fantastic form
Yep.
right now. Probably the best test batsman on the planet, you could say.
Yep.
But I would blame him.
What?
Prashant Trivedi, big hi to you. He's joining us from Canada and he says it's 10:21 p.m. That's still
He's still stuck in
decent time.
February. He's
Yeah.
still stuck in February.
No, but I said 10:21
Yeah,
is still
a decent time. Yeah.
But I wonder whether he'll be able to see the entire day's play, because that will be like
Oh.
early morning.
That will
I
be
know.
a whole nighter.
Whole night.
That
Yeah, a lot of
will
people do that.
It'll be like how we cover New Zealand test matches. It'll be like that.
One of our earlier subscribers, Bappaditya Karan, is also there. Hi to you.
Yep.
He's one of our initial
Yes.
subscriber as well. As Parth Dalal is pointing out that Sunny Gavaskar, who's at the ground, did
Yeah.
not see KL Rahul even warming up.
Yeah.
You can now see
And you can see Shubman Gill warming up. Though, can I tell you, I mean, that Shubman Gill is warming up doesn't say much to you, because even I've seen reserve players
Yep.
in the morning, they come, all of them go through their motions. So even the bowlers who are not playing, sometimes you'll see them bowling and you'll think, oh, he's going to be playing, but it doesn't happen. But the fact that KL Rahul is not warming up, I think, is a bigger indicator
Yes.
that he might not be playing. But again, assuming that's the case, assuming Shubman is playing and KL is just not playing, so not warming, that's also a bit surprising. I mean, so if you are not playing, you didn't come for practice yesterday.
And then you're not
KL
warming up
Rahul,
the
if
next
you're not
day.
playing, you're not warming up. I mean, you've got to be on the ball, yeah. And I'm saying, even if he was told that he won't be playing, he should have come out and batted in the nets and practice, because what he's trying to do is improve only, right?
Exactly.
Unless he's switched off and he's now thinking, oh, now I'll start practicing when the IPL comes along,
Yeah.
then I don't know, it's a different matter. But even then, he mustn't forget that two things could have happened. I mean, what if Shubman Gill pulled up with an injury on the morning
Yes.
of the game? Or if not, now the next test match, somebody gets injured and you get a chance to play. So, I mean, it also shows you the dedication of a player, the attitude of a player. And if KL is not warming up, didn't come for practice yesterday because he was told he's not playing, that's a bit, I don't know.
It's a dampener, yeah.
Doesn't give a good message, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely not. So, you got to always be ready. Or he could say that, the other way of looking at it, he could say that I anyway don't come a day before the match. So, even if I was called in to play, I mean, that's my regular.
That's his regular match practice. Maybe it's a
exactly.
bit indicative of the match practice, though.
Yeah. But he does practice a lot on 2 days before the test match.
Yes.
So, that regular practice session, he does practice a lot.
Yep. Oh boy. KL Rahul. So much heat, but yeah, he deserved it. 15 average. The rope must have gotten really, really short, and Indore, perhaps it's ended. Yes.
No, but that's what we were saying, that for how long will you keep saying that, this test match or another test match or get
Or this series.
another. Yeah, exactly. There is some level where you say, okay, it's done, or we need to give the other guy a chance also.
Yep.
That's not to say that his career is over, KL Rahul, because I mean, nobody more than KL Rahul would know how to make comebacks. He has already in that short span.
Yep.
In Test cricket, it was almost down and out. I think England tour.
Yeah.
Couple of injuries actually. He was not even the first choice, second choice, probably was the third or the fourth choice, but came in, and then from that, made himself available, or made him the first choice Indian opener.
Yeah.
So he could still.
He could, but then where will he get the next opportunity? Because see, domestic cricket is done. Only ROI versus the
He's
champions.
not there.
He's not there in that.
No, but I don't think you're looking at immediately that. Now see, you will forget again. Nobody remembers test match to test matches.
Yeah.
It will all be now. You'll play the IPL, then
WTC final.
WTC final. He again assuming that Shubman does well in both test matches. See, that also is another factor.
Yep.
I mean, you think Shubman is set out and he will get a lot of runs, but assume, let's say worst case scenario, he doesn't get runs in the 2 test matches that he plays. Then what do you do?
Exactly.
Then what is to suggest that he is going to be better than KL, or KL would be better? Then you might even say that KL last time around he was there, got 100
Yep.
in a series, right? So, or then you go for a third option. So there'll be plenty of permutation combination, I think Rahul would also have that in mind. And again, even though it's a different format, your runs in IPL somehow or the other end up being counted.
Exactly.
Yeah, you will be like, oh no, this guy is in form, another top 3 run
Then
getter.
you'll say format doesn't matter. Momentum matters, rhythm matters.
No, but I'm saying it will only be fair, let's say, assuming worst case scenario that Shubman doesn't
play these well in these 2 tests.
Yeah, so then what do you do? Then even the worst critic is going to say, yeah, but what do you do? Who do you look at? Maybe, let's go.
But then there's a counter argument to be made that I'm not saying you give Shubman the similar type of long rope that KL got, but at least give him a few more matches than that, because KL got a long rope too.
No, I would agree, but the problem here is that it would be that one-off World Test Championship final. So it's like a final sort of a thing, and it's not so much about giving a guy confidence, which you tend to do in like bilateral series, where it's a longer series and one match is not of that significance. So you say, okay, it's Shubman's turn. Shubman, you play the next 10 games or whatever. I don't know. It's just that one of World Test Championship, and you say, listen, I have to put all my eggs in one basket, as in I have to be 100% sure, like my best guys go. So that risk is there. Then I think that debate will once again come. Assuming, let's say, he doesn't get runs in the 2 games, and you say, okay, maybe Shubman is one for the future, and we will go with him. But who's that one that we play in this World Test Championship final? Because hey, we need a ICC trophy. We've been struggling to get an ICC trophy.
10th year. We are now in our 10th year.
You've been counting.
Yeah.
No, 13 was the last time.
13. And every time, see, we have been
As if he's been counting every
we have been in the sports industry. Every win or every loss nowadays makes it memorable for the right and the wrong reasons.
See, when I made my debut, at that point it was only losses. So
yeah, but I've been part of even wins. I've been part of even wins.
Never covered a winning ICC tournament.
I have covered 2011 and 2013, and also if you look at 2010 and 2018 Asia Cups, we won that.
I won Asia Cup then.
Yeah.
But still, my first tournament which I remember covering was 2017.
But I never covered a winning World T20. Never. Because I started only in 2008. We won in 2007. ODI World Cup Champions Trophy, luckily. But since then, it's just been a barren cupboard.
First time.
Okay, before that, quick update from Indore. It's a pleasant morning there. Very good wicket to bat on. Historically, don't expect the same thing to happen here. The wicket looks similar to the ones we saw in the first 2 test matches. Tells you a lot. And then
and India won the toss and they'll bat.
First time in the series.
Yes.
So it's a dry wicket, it'll crumble, but first you have to win the toss, and India have won the toss. So
no KL Rahul.
So Shubman Gill,
yes,
coming back into the test team, you can confirm.
Yes.
And is Umesh there?
Yes, Umesh is there, no Shami.
Umesh Yadav is in for Mohammad Shami. So these 2 changes were expected. We said it in the morning before the toss had happened, and so those are the only 2 changes that India have done.
Yes.
That is, Mohammad Shami goes out, Umesh Yadav comes in. In fact, that is something that I had mentioned the other day when on AajTak we were talking about the team, and I was like, there is no way that they'll play the same fast bowlers, considering India has been so obsessed with workload management that they keep rotating.
And now that you've seen what's happening to Bumrah, you'd be even more smooth.
Yeah, no, but even before that, and I mean, there's a good chance. Even though the other way of looking at it is that the fast bowlers hardly bowled in the first 2 test matches, so then you could argue that what workload management, considering they're not bowling. But just the fact that Umesh also has a great record. He has a great record in Indore. Also,
yes.
I think he's not really, a step below the 2 that were playing. He was almost there. And so in that case, you had to decide at one point, hey, listen, we'll rotate. Had the 2, which is Shami and Siraj, been like head and shoulders above the rest, then you would have said, no, these are our 2 best bowlers, you go. But Umesh's numbers have been slightly even better than Shami's, especially in home test matches. I was looking at the last few years. So he's right up there in terms of performance. So you had to play him.
He did well in Bangladesh. So just
overall, I'm talking about 3-4 years. If you compare his performance with Shami's at home, he was better. But there's no grouse as such. You started with Shami. The gap is marginal. So anyone you went with, and Shami proved that right as well with his bowling here. That even on spin turning tracks, he played a major role in the first test match. But I'm saying, even with that in mind, I think you may have decided even before the series that, listen, Umesh and Shami, we are going to rotate you, and maybe you play the first 2 and then you play the next. So I think this must have been done even before the series has started. So not surprising, and not surprising that Shubman Gill has also come.
Yes. So Rohit, Shubman, Pujara, Kohli, Iyer, Bharat, Jadeja, Ashwin, Aksar, Umesh, Siraj. That's your playing 11 for India. For Australia, a couple of changes. Usman Khwaja, Travis Head to open. Labuschagne Smith, Hanscom, Green's back.
He must have come
Yeah.
for the left-hander.
Matthew Renshaw.
Renshaw.
Renshaw's not there. Then Alex Carey, he's the vice captain. Mitchell Stark is back.
Yeah, for Cummins.
Cummins. Nathan Lyon, Todd Murphy, Matthew Kuhneman.
So 2 changes for Australia,
Yes.
2 changes for India. And 2 changes for Australia, we knew that Green was fit, he had to come in for Renshaw, who had a
Cummins.
torrid time in both the test match. I think looked the least comfortable batsman in these conditions, clearly.
Which is saying
For
something,
Australia.
really.
Yep.
Because I think almost
Yeah.
all of them looked uncomfortable.
I mean, with the exception of Hanscom and
Maybe Smith Labuschagne to an extent. They
yeah, kind of in the first test match, you could say.
Yeah.
But I think Hanscom looked the best. Khwaja looked good in the second test.
yeah.
Yep.
Carey also, you knew that he'll play his aggressive stroke. Head 1 inning looked good, only has played 1 test match. So overall, all of these other batsmen did show glimpses that they can, play well. But it is just, when they got those starts, failed to kick on from there on. So I think that's been the mistake that they made. But in case of Renshaw, just didn't look comfortable. So they had to make that change. So Renshaw goes out and Green who's coming in. Though I think Green also is going to be a tough test. Playing a test match in India in these conditions. I know he's an aggressive batsman. Likes to play very well. I think made his debut against India, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
in that 2020-2021 series, yes.
And look good, but completely different conditions.
Yeah.
These conditions, I think, first 2 test matches. So it'll either be, I don't think anything that he'll do will be average. Either he'll be made to look, not like a fool, but would struggle
Yeah,
against
deer in the
if you're
headlights.
Not deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
If you're not used
Yeah.
to these conditions, either that will be the situation, or he'll just play fearless with his big, size. That front foot is going to be nice and wide, and he'll reach the pitch of the ball and play aggressive cricket, by which he'll play 1 inning and which will surprise all of us. So there'll be nothing middling here. It'll either be very good, surprising.
It's an audition for his IPL stint, which is about to come up soon.
Yeah, but again, I wouldn't read too much into it. Those pitches for the IPL will be flat.
Flat.
It'll be flat and easy to bat.
Yeah.
So
This is anything but.
Plus, in these conditions, I don't think he's going to get a lot of overs to bowl as well. So it's going to be mostly the spinners that will do the job. So over here and there, maybe. But I don't think he'll get
At least
too
it's
much.
good for the Aussies now that they have 2 pace options.
Of the changes.
It's done. It's done.
It's good for the Aussies now they at least have 2 pace options. If you don't know, by chance the pitch has something early on. Like last test match, you saw that the Indian pacers both were bowling well early on, and then you only had Cummins at the other end. So by default, you had to be having at least 1 spinner at all times.
Yeah.
Green, that he
Green's
does.
not a pacer, but medium pace he'll do.
At least be able to hold up one end if
See,
necessary.
at least you got Australia have got batting depth today until 8. Stark can also be a handy bat. So that is why Green's addition kinds of adds a bit more depth to the Australian batting lineup. But again, as I had said, the demons that Australia are carrying in their head, even if they are presented with an absolute road, they'll still crumble. They are that low on confidence.
Okay, what did Rohit Sharma say is it's a pretty good dressing room, and like you said, the morale is very high, so it should be 2-0 up, dominating the first 2 test match in 2.5 days. We have played a lot of cricket, but this one is slightly different. That's very interesting. He says that after the 2 surfaces that they saw both in Delhi and Nagpur, he's saying compared to that, this one is slightly
He's
different.
talking about he's saying we played a lot of cricket here, so he's comparing it to the Indore pitch. Normally, the Indore pitch is always
Flat.
But that's what we pointed out. Everyone was saying this is where fast bowlers get some
We said it's gonna
assistance on
change.
batting. But as he's pointing out, compared to the previous ones, this one is slightly different. Shivam, it has disappeared. But what does he say? We are not there yet. We have to win this game for the World Test Championship final.
Yes.
So they'll just try to look to repeat the things that they did in the first 2 tests. We made 2 changes, which we've already told you about. But as I said, different surface means, just to let you know a bit about the surface and why it's slightly different is because mostly in Indore you get the red clay, the red soil, and that is what is used to make pitches here. But what I was reading is that they had an option, the team management, even to get the black clay
soil.
in. So black soil. So it's a mixture of
Red and black.
the black clay, which has been mixed together, and a pitch is being prepared. That is why most indoor pitches, and if you see on the side where there's
Yes.
you see the redness outside,
Yeah.
but where he's standing, you see that black or grey sort of a surface, which is very rare to see in indoor. We usually see red tinge to the pitches. This pitch does not have the red tinge, and how does that make a difference? The red soil usually bounces a bit more, has a
Yep.
bit of a help for fast bowlers, which is why traditionally you've seen some sort of help in indoor for fast bowlers. But now that they've got the black clay in or the black soil in, the difference here is that it stays a bit low. And if you wanted to know the difference, I think this series is the perfect example. Nagpur, you had the red soil. Delhi, you had the black.
Yep.
So you saw the difference in bounce between Nagpur and Delhi. Now imagine that kind of has been mixed, and that is what you're getting in Indore. So little less bounce as compared to the previous pitches that you would get in Indore, which is to say that it's even before the first ball is bowled, it's advantage.
India.
Shubman Gill gets into the 11 and 9:01 will be coming out to bat with Rohit Sharma. So no time even to settle in while you're fielding this and that. He just has to
Go out there and
Yep.
Yeah, what did Steve Smith say? He says it's dry, the pitch, so no surprise that Rohit Sharma has decided to bat first. What he's saying is that they need to execute their skills early and get the Indian batsmen out early. The break he's talking about is a good time, and I think he's right there because it's always when you have a big break, it always kind of helps the team that's struggling. And is a slight disadvantage of the team that's winning because the momentum is with you, and a big break tends to break that momentum. So for a team that's trailing, a break always is good. So he's thinking about, at the moment they have their thoughts with Pat Cummins because his mum is not well, and as I said, 2 changes they've made which were expected. So Cameron Green in for Warner. So Renshaw also is there in the team?
No, Renshaw is not there.
Renshaw came out for this fellow, no? Green.
No, but
See, this is the team.
no, but he's saying for David Warner. What Green comes in for Davy Warner?
Yeah, because I think. Wait, hold on.
See, Usman Khwaja, Travis Head, Labuschagne, Smith,
Mitch Stark will also.
Hanscom, Green, Carey, Stark, Lyon, Murphy, Kuhneman.
Yeah, so then I think they're mixing it up because no, but who is going?
No, but technically Green last match. David Warner last match he started. No, he got subbed later on. So maybe that's why he means in the playing 11. So.
Okay, got it. But then.
No, he's definitely mixed up because Renshaw's dropped out, Cummins has dropped out, and Warner has dropped out.
So, but then 3 need.
Exactly.
3 players need to come in, but there are only 2.
So Head, who started the last test, also he came in as a concussion sub. That's why we're getting confused.
No, Head already started the test match.
Head was batting at number 5.
Head was
No.
part of the 11.
Wait, then who came in as a concussion sub? Renshaw came in as a concussion sub. And
Renshaw
Green
came.
was promoted. Right.
So technically, you could just say, yeah, exactly.
Then-
Renshaw / Warner. You could look at it either way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not. It's 2 guys out, 2 in. That's why. So he got a bit confused that way, or not confused. He's taking
Literal
the
sense.
incumbent, which was David Warner, and we are taking the sub that came in. So either way, it.
Yep.
Let's talk about Mitchell Stark. He's in, guys. You think he's going to make a lot of difference?
I think he'll definitely impact their ability to clean up a tail.
He needs to have his reverse swing spot on and be accurate.
Yeah.
Remember, he'll be lacking a bit for rhythm.
Obviously.
Because he's not played at all since Melbourne. And that was in December. Now we are in March. So one hopes that he can get back into rhythm. He didn't practice much in Delhi. That's what we were told. He didn't practice much in Delhi. Here he's been putting in the hard strides. But yeah, the tail, he has to blast the tail out. Aksar, Jadeja, Ashwin, those 3 have been your key contributors. Stark will have to do it in this case. So
He's their best bet that if he can get his reverse swinging Yorker down pat, then obviously he's going to have an impact.
Oh, so I mean, I was just looking at his numbers here. That is Mitchell Stark, and his numbers in India aren't great. I think he averages 50. So I don't think that I mean, there is something to suggest that Mitchell Starc is going to make a huge difference because he's not had a great time in India. First things first.
Yeah.
In fact, the area where he'll make some sort of difference, I feel, is with the batting, because he averages about 30 with the bat in India.
Yeah.
So that's one area where Australia have been found wanting, which is their tail not really standing up and getting them some good runs. So I think Mitchell Starc, the batsman, may end up doing more damage than Mitchell Starc, the bowler. Having said that, what other thing that Mitchell Starc coming in may help Australia is that for now, you don't have anyone creating that, especially a fast bowler. They've been using their off spinners to come round the wicket to create the rough outside the right-handers off stump, because Indian bowlers, the fast bowlers, create that rough outside the left-handers off stump, which Australia have more. But so India had that slight advantage because Australia didn't have a fast bowler, and I know that you're using spinners, but that spinners don't have that kind of follow through to create that sort of rough. A fast bowler does. In that sense, they needed a fast bowler. Now with Starc coming over the wicket for the left-hander as a left-handed bowler, I think that will create the rough outside the right-handers off stump, which I think they'll be looking forward to. Their spinners at least. So that may be a crucial thing that Starc will do going forward.
Yep.
Love Karan Tour has sent us some love from the US of A. He feels that Alex Carey will score in this game along with Khwaja. And he's joining us from New Orleans. That's an interesting call. He's gone with Carey. Carey, yes, is the aggressor. But you reckon?
But he's been undone by his aggression so far, especially those sweep shots.
No, but see, I'll tell you what, I think what Love Karan is saying may have a point. If you see Carey in the first test, he looked dangerous.
Yes.
Carey in the second test wasn't dangerous. And I'll tell you the difference between the first and the second. First test, you played on a pitch that had good even bounce. Yes, it was turning Nagpur, but the bounce was good, which is what allowed Carey to play good sweep shots. As soon as you move to Delhi, where the bounce isn't good, uneven bounce, that's a place where sweep shot shouldn't be your go-to shot. And if you're trying to play the sweep shot there, that is what will cause a lot of trouble. And I think that ground didn't suit him. Now the question is, and just to take Love Karan's point forward, how is it this Indore pitch is going to behave? Will it behave more like the Nagpur pitch or more like the Delhi pitch? We don't know because they mixed the both soils. So maybe it's somewhere in the middle. If it's somewhere in the middle, then that's not great for someone like a Carey.
Yeah.
He would want
even
good bounce coming in. That will help him play the stroke. But at least he plays counter-attacking. Khwaja could be better suited, because you remember Khwaja was asked about here, and he's done well in the subcontinent, not so much India, but subcontinent his record is good, so he kind of might be slightly more adept at handling the bounce here in India than the other batsmen.
And he's probably the in-form batsman right now, going off the last test. Look, their best bat by a long shot.
Yeah. Only 2 bad shots.
Yep.
And one free catch.
Shaker says, Nick sir, you doubt Gill's presence in World Test Championship final if he fails in 2 tests, but why do you brush aside his 91 at Gabba, another grand stage according to you? Because KL has 100 at Oval, he will play. No, I'm not saying that. What I said is that as of now, I see him playing the World Test Championship. Assuming that the worst case scenario is what? That he will not get runs, right?
Yeah.
That's the worst case scenario. So in the worst case scenario, he doesn't get runs, I still think that he may still play the World Test Championship final, because you've gone with him, you might as well continue with him. But I'm saying there could still be a seed of doubt because it's a one-off final.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're going to do. Had that, let's say after this, India played another bilateral series, then it was a no-brainer. Whether Shubman gets runs or he doesn't get runs in these 2 test matches, or how many ever innings he gets to play, he would start, because you would also want to give him a bit of a long run, right? So,
yes.
So that's a no-brainer. It's just that it's a one-off game. It's a final. You want to be 100% sure the team that you play going forward. And I agree that there is a 91 at Gabba also that you're going to be. But also remember, Australian conditions, even though it was Gabba, very different to English conditions. So Gabba was dangerous because it had pace and bounce.
Yep.
Not so much seaming conditions. It was a pace and bounce that would trouble most batsmen. England, Oval also not the most seam friendly ground in England, but I'm saying just comparatively, because of the conditions that you have at the time, would be that. So complete different conditions, but I guess that's a question that probably we can answer once once you're closer to the World Test champion. And sometimes we start preempting these situations, but what happens at that time? One of them is injured and is not anyway available, so it just sorts itself out. Yeah, it happens.
It does, yeah.
You keep worrying about something, and once that problem actually you reach that stage, you realize the problem isn't there because automatically something has happened, and some back injury or this injury.
Yeah, side strain.
So. Okay, good question by Vignesh Kona saying, is Shubman Gill selection in playing 11 due to pressure from BCCI administrators? Good question.
No, I mean, see, it is a question of who are you going to back. Okay, KL Rahul, okay, in the past couple of seasons has not been in form. Agreed. Now, either you persisted with KL Rahul until the 4th test and play him in the World Test Championship final and continue the failure. But I think, okay, maybe KL Rahul was not in that space, which is why I think Shubman Gill had to play in Indore. But is it pressure from BCCI administration? That is very, very subjective, because there is no concrete this thing that perhaps, yes, he's been told to shape up or ship out. There is no clear message from the BCCI as such. So it is all speculative, this pressure from BCCI administration.
Yeah, I agree. There's no, we've not heard any whispers in that regard that there's been pressure in recent times. And in fact, till 2 days back, the team management were very vocally backing KL. Maybe it's just a call they decided to take, keeping in mind that if you're looking at the World Test Championship final, you don't have much test cricket between then and now. 2 test matches, at most 4 innings if you're India. No time like the present to try out, Gill?
I think Vignesh Konar has a point. Why I'm saying that is, see, firstly, if there was any message from the BCCI, shape up or ship out, it's not going to be out in the public domain.
Yes.
So if it's not out, does not mean that the message is not there. I'll tell you why. Because, see, him being removed as vice captain, I mean, it was a step that was taken, right? So
yes.
It's not that you have one series with a vice captain, next you don't, and it's common, so nobody would have looked at it. The fact is that for every series you do announce a vice captain, right? And you had been in the last few series. Suddenly that is removed. Now when that decision was taken, that decision is a decision taken by a larger committee. There are a lot of people in that selection committee meeting, and that's when that decision is taken. So that decision was taken then. Which told me that it wasn't just the team. Now, so mostly playing 11 is decided by team management, right? So whatever you do is kind of left to you. But when that decision of team selection happened, there's a larger group that discusses.
Yes.
When that larger group decided, that means clearly there was something there from outside the team management that was worried about KL Rahul's form or not, and that is why that decision was taken to remove him as vice captain, right? Now, the team management may still be backing, but the fact that this thing happened, this event happened, did tell you at that time, and that is why we kept saying here on Sports Day, if you remember, that you will have Shubman Gill playing in that, because without any rhyme or reason, you wouldn't do it.
Yes.
If they thought, or if they left it completely to team management to decide, then there was no reason to remove him as vice captain. No reason as such. The fact that someone beyond the team management did that gave you a clear indication that the team management may be showing a lot of faith on him, but the powers
Selection
that be
panel,
have had some sort of a issue that there is a time, and which is why after that has happened, you've seen this change. Because I mean, what are the noises that you were hearing from the team manager, which is the captain and the coach, more often than not? You had we're backing him.
Potential.
He's got runs, this and that.
Yeah.
But there were other people in the discussion, and only because of those other people being present here, I think this decision is taken.
Yes.
So, Vignesh, there could be.
Yes.
Take Varun
Parvatnini is asking, when there was so much hullabaloo about Warner getting leadership chance, how come Steve Smith is allowed to captain given the bigger role he had in Sandpaper Gate?
Agreed. It's one of the more confusing things when it comes to the Cricket Australia's dealing
Now,
with this entire thing. Because remember, Warner actually gave up on his battle to get his leadership ban overturned. It was that much of a controversial thing.
Because the problem is, see, what had happened was the chain of events. Everybody, Cricket Australia had felt, what was the core thing at that time? There was a leadership core that had ensured that Sandpaper Gate would be carried out. Steve Smith, David Warner, even the coach Darren Lehman, although he claims he didn't know, I don't buy that. Steve Smith gets away with a 1-year ban and a further 1-year ban from captaincy. But Cricket Australia were hell-bent on saying that Warner was the mastermind. That's why he got a 1-year ban, but a permanent lifetime leadership ban, which Warner tried. He went through the process, he tried, but then Cricket Australia just did not budge. And anyway, the major issue is, okay, we were all crucifying them because see, it's Australia. They don't bend the rules to ensure these kind of things happen. But the reaction coming from South Africa, England and India was very, very rich considering ball tampering.
Actually, South Africa didn't really react that much.
Yeah, because they couldn't.
They actually saw the entire, moral compass thing from Australia with bemusement. Because they're like, our own players have done it and they got away with nothing more than a slap on the wrist.
But Australia, because that is the problem that Australia did, Cricket Australia, they had a very heavy-handed approach to it. Very heavy-handed. Because see, Pakistan did it a lot of times, South Africa did it a lot of times.
But that doesn't mean you were caught
just because
on
something
camera.
was doing wrong.
You were caught on camera
right.
and slimily doing it.
Yep.
And just because in those days you didn't have too many cameras, people didn't get caught. But that doesn't mean two wrongs make a right.
Actually, to be fair, the South Africans, you had Fab du Plessis literally get caught.
Yeah, well, then they should
even
be
Michael
punished for
Atherton. Michael Atherton got caught in 1984 rubbing mud.
But I'm saying that you should be punished for it. If you're doing a malpractice, you should be punished.
Just a one-match ban, by the way.
No, actually, I think with Australia, why they were heavy-handed, because they saw it as the moment to make some sort of a culture change.
Yeah.
Because that didn't really happen until maybe recently. But
a lot of things that have been happening. So see, it wasn't just that. I mean, it was a culmination of what happened in India as well. They were asking the dressing room to tell us about DRS. Then they say brain fade. A lot of things were happening. So I think
the pressure of winning. The immense
everyone has pressure of winning.
If you're a top 3 nation,
I mean, who has more pressure of winning than an Indian team?
Exactly.
Will I defend the Indian team if they are caught doing any of that? You should not. I mean, I think you could argue about the level of punishment or whatever. But you couldn't brush it under the carpet. You needed to take some.
Actually, also worth noting is that why Cricket Australia felt so compelled to act is because it became a scandal in Australia and they started losing sponsors.
Yeah.
A lot of that main team sponsors started dropping out, so they felt compelled to act.
Yes.
That was another reason. That has a massive impact, despite whatever they may say.
Yeah, obviously. And see, you can understand why the sponsors are pulling out, because each company, when you associate yourself with a person or a company, it's because of values like trust and reliability. Every brand tries to sell that, right? We have a lot of trust in us, or we are reliable. As soon as that trust, reliability, these things thrown out of the window as the guy that you're backing or the team that you're backing, then you can't just have any sort of collaboration on that. It's just pretty natural. I mean, Tiger Woods, right? I mean,
lost how many sponsors?
Because so it happens, and in that case, Ayush Garg makes a very interesting point. So your theory of coming to optional practice day one prior to the match failed. You are right, Ayush. In fact, and I mentioned that once that vice captain thing had changed, I was convinced that Shubman is playing, and I was convinced till last evening. Till the time I realized that KL Rahul has not come for optional practice and Shubman has.
Then suddenly it changes.
Because all this while, I mean, 9 times out of 10, this has been the trend.
Yeah.
So this is that 1 time out of 10 where that theory didn't work. I mean, yes, there was that 10% chance of that theory failing, and this is that 10% chance that it would have. But if you ask me personally, if you asked me to pick the 11, I would have picked Shubman, and I'd been saying that. So, I mean, it's that theory has definitely failed, but I'm much happier because I'm happy to see Shubman Gill walk out, because it was high time he got a chance. And I'm also happy to note that Shubman Gill, who probably would have known yesterday that he is going to be playing, went for optional practice and put in the hard yards and did not follow that whole theory of, okay, now I have done practice day before, let me now all relax and no. So good. That sends out a good message, and I'm sure this sort of a commitment would have impressed none other than Rahul Dravid, because I know he likes this sort of commitment from his players. So that he did it's great. Siddharth Jain is saying, informally, India have qualified for the World Test Championship and have retained the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Why can't they make some batting tracks to help Virat, Pujara, etc. make some runs and get confidence back for the World Test Championship final? Siddharth Jain, you make an interesting point, but I tell you what, you're not 100% there. And that is the kind of impression that I got from Rohit Sharma's press conference yesterday, where they're still like, they're not convinced that they're 100%
Yes.
going to be there. So he did point out that if they were to win this, for the Ahmedabad test, they'll have a very different sort of a surface.
Yeah.
So what is that telling you? That is telling you that you and me may be thinking they're almost there, but they don't want to even leave that slight window.
Yep.
Which is fair. Which is fair.
Yeah.
So they want to, win, be 100% sure, and after which time maybe they prepare a batting friendly track for the.
Yeah, simple equation for both teams. If India wins, through to the World Test Championship final. If Australia draw or win, they become the first team to go through. That is the simple equation for the World Test Championship final. India win, they go through. If they lose this, then Australia go through.
But even if India don't win any of the next 2 tests, they're all but through if. I know, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, I know. Come on.
If Sri Lanka wins 1-0 also, no use. They have to win 2-0.
So
they're not whitewashing New Zealand and New Zealand.
Especially
Yeah,
after
I
that
don't
1-run
think
win. No, they are
New Zealand's confidence also would be pretty
exactly,
high. So,
exactly, yeah.
And away test series wins are so rare. That
In
too
today's
in
day,
New Zealand.
yeah.
And that too a Sri Lankan team which is not
Great
one
test
of the,
side.
yeah. Well, I mean not of like the Sri Lankan teams in the past. So all of that put together.
Yeah, even in the past, they rarely used to win in New Zealand. Even
but
that
at
best
least
team, yeah.
with
The talent they had.
Muralidharan and a Jayasuriya and all, you never know. You could still say that it could be dangerous.
Sangha, yeah.
Exactly, Jayavardene, Sangakkara, that sort of team. You'd still be like, okay, who knows?
This team, you probably say, you probably know.
Yeah.
Probably.
You know it, yep.
Exactly.
And remember, England were denied a test series in New Zealand. 15 years and counting now. So it's very difficult to win there.
Oh, it's Mr. Shekhar saying he wants an opinion on whether GILL play the finals. If he fails here, not Dravid's thinking. So I didn't understand.
He wants your opinion whether if Gill plays the finals, if he fails in the next 2 tests, assuming. He doesn't want Dravid's thinking like, okay, best 11 for one-off test. No diplomatic response. If Shubman fails, is he still playing the World Test Championship final, or do you think Rahul is slotting back?
Very tough to say now. I'll tell you why. Because all of it will also depend on how Shubman goes in these test matches. I think it's not just about the runs, but how he looks and all of that. So tough to say that now, Mr. Shekhar. I think the best time would be the end of the series.
Yeah.
When you've seen him play 4 innings, 3 innings, how many ever innings he gets. He's played the 2 test matches. I think that's when you'll have an idea of who out of the 2 you'd want to go with for. I mean, ideally you'd want to go with Shubman because, as you pointed out, that you want to give him a longer rope. But never know. Again, as I said, it'll all depend on how he looks in these 2 tests.
Ideally, I'd want to stick with him for at least a little while. Ideally.
Yeah, but I'm saying for a one-off test, you'd be okay because, as I said, you're not looking at as a sort of assessing a player. Bilateral series, you do that, but just a one-off test, you just want to win.
So they're appealing straight away.
So imagine if this was to happen for 2 test matches.
To be fair,
This is the first.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that you never know.
I don't think so.
They are not going for it. Yep.
Akash saying, will they pick KL as a 3rd opener in that?
Yeah.
I think they will.
They will, yeah.
Yeah, they're not just going to discard him.
Yes.
Varun has an interesting point. Why not send KL to the Irani Cup finals to get some match practice and confidence? But I think KL also should be keen to do that.
Yeah. He should have gone from here and he should go straight to Gwalior now. If that is the case. But I think he's going to be with this team and sorry, it's not happening. It isn't happening, unfortunately. Oh, that was a pretty close shout.
No, but I don't think.
I think there was no bat.
There was no bad, but good ball.
Optimism, more optimism than.
Anything else?
Yep. Let's see. Ooh, it is swinging.
Getting the angle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Left-handed.
Rohit Sharma.
Fast bowlers.
Yes.
All top order Indian batsmen.
Yeah.
So, Jeet Singh, will they pick Hardik Pandya in the World Cup?
No.
He's pretty much unofficially given up on Test cricket.
Instead of Hardik, I think the one that they're going
Shardul.
with right now is Shardul Thakur.
Lord Thakur.
Rohit pointed that out,
Yep.
that they might be going in with Shardul Thakur.
Got a good
You might
record at
get
the
to
Oval.
See him if they prepare that sort of a pitch for the 4th game also. You never know. They could call him as a last minute.
Take out one of the spinning all-rounders and take him.
Yeah,
Why
you
not?
could.
Yeah. Who will you take out? Aksar, that is his fortress.
Oh,
There was an edge.
was an edge. How
Australian reviews.
There was something.
Australian reviews. Just can't seem to get it together. Oh man.
Actually, you see Rohit, the guilty thing he did.
Yes. Alex
Took that straight
Carey.
away.
No, but the keeper wasn't too excited.
Alex Carey.
Stark was very excited.
Stark was, but the keeper was not.
I was saying, I always for these things
Could
I
have
look at
been
the
a
body language.
first ball duck.
Golden duck.
for
Yeah.
Rohit.
Yes.
Oh, like before they're appealing.
Oh, come
I
on.
think
Now
this
this is going over.
If there's no way they're reviewing this. Come on, Smithy. No way.
Nah, they aren't. It's going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Chalo. It's
Oh
gonna be
boy,
exciting morning. We want
yes.
to watch it. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Come lunch.